Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into some of the unsung heroes of the internet. We're going to finally clear up a super common point of confusion for anyone in web development or system design. What on earth is the difference between a reverse proxy and a load balancer? I know, they sound kind of similar, but trust me, they solve totally different problems. So picture this. Your favorite artist drops a new album, a new sneaker goes on sale, or it's just a regular Tuesday on a viral news site. Suddenly, millions of people all try to visit the same website at the exact same moment. How does it not just crumble? Well, it's not magic, that's for sure. It's all about some really clever engineering. And today we're looking at two of the most important players in that game. Let's start at the front door. All right, first up, let's meet the reverse proxy. The easiest way to think about it is like a security guard or a receptionist for your website. It's the only public address for your site, and it's the very first thing anyone or anything talks to when they try to visit. So what is it really? At its heart, a reverse proxy is just an intermediary. It's a server that sits between the entire internet and your actual web server. You know, the one doing the real work. It takes all incoming requests, deals with them, and then passes them along. Okay, let's actually trace the journey of a single request. So you type a URL into your browser and hit enter. First, that request doesn't go to the web server directly. Nope, it's intercepted by the reverse proxy. The proxy then looks at the request and forwards it to the right internal server. That server does its thing and sends the response back to the proxy. And finally, the proxy delivers that response to you. The key here is that from your browser's point of view, it only ever talked to the reverse proxy. It has no idea what's happening behind the curtain. So you might be asking, why bother with this extra step? Well, it gives you some pretty amazing superpowers. First off, security. This is a big one. Since your actual servers are hidden, it's way harder for attackers to target them directly. Second, flexibility. You can swap out, add, or change your backend servers without anyone on the outside ever knowing. And third, and this is my favorite, speed. The proxy can store or cache copies of frequently requested stuff, like images or CSS files, and deliver them to users in a flash without even bothering the main server. Now, this is a really important point, so I want you to remember it. You get all of those benefits, the security, the caching, the flexibility, even if you only have one single web server. This is not just a tool for giant tech companies. A reverse proxy is incredibly useful for websites of any size. Okay, so our site is up and running, it's protected, and it's fast, all thanks to our reverse proxy. But now we've got a new kind of problem, a good problem. Our website is a huge hit. And that one server, no matter how great it is starting to sweat. It's about to hit its limit. This is the next big hurdle in system design, right? You have way more people wanting to use your service than your server can handle. So what do? Well, you can't just keep making that one server bigger and bigger. You need a new piece in your puzzle. And that brings us to our second major player. And this is where the load balancer makes its grand entrance. If the reverse proxy is the security guard at the front gate, the load balancer is the super smart air traffic controller for a whole fleet of servers operating behind that gate. And its job is exactly what it sounds like. It balances the load. Its entire reason for being is to take that massive flood of incoming requests and distribute them intelligently across a whole group of servers. The whole idea is to prevent any one server from getting totally overwhelmed, while the others are just sitting around bored. The load balancer makes sure everyone gets a fair share of the work. As you can see here, it spreads the requests evenly across server A, B, and C. This keeps everything running fast, and bonus, it also makes your site way more reliable. If server A suddenly goes offline, no problem. The load balancer just stops sending it traffic and the site stays up. Okay, so this is where it can get a little fuzzy for people. They both sit in the middle, they both manage traffic, so are they basically the same thing? The short answer is no. They are designed to solve fundamentally different problems. And here it is. This is the absolute key difference. If you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. A reverse proxy adds value even if you only have one server. A load balancer, by its very definition, only makes sense when you have multiple servers that you need to distribute traffic among. It's purely a tool for scaling out. So let's look at this side by side. For the reverse proxy, the primary goals are things like security, caching, maybe even SSL termination. For the load balancer, it has one main job: distribute the workload, and that directly impacts how you use them. A proxy is great for one or more servers, but a load balancer requires more than one server to be useful. But, and this is a big but, here's the twist. While the concepts of a reverse proxy and a load balancer are distinct, in the real world, the lines have gotten really blurry. Why? Because the software we use today is just that powerful. I mean, if you've ever worked on a web project, you've almost certainly heard of NGINX, right? Or maybe HAProxy. Well, tools like these are the Swiss Army knives of web traffic. You can configure them to act as a simple reverse proxy, or as a really sophisticated load balancer, or, what happens most of the time, as both at the same time. So we've waded through all the technical stuff, but let's just zoom out for a second. Why should you care about any of this? Because this invisible architecture is working for you right now, every single time you use the internet. At the end of the day, all of this complex technology has one incredibly simple goal: to make sure the flow of traffic between your phone or laptop and the servers out there is as smooth, fast, and safe as it can possibly be. And the results are things you experience constantly. When a web page just snaps into view instantly, that's often caching from a reverse proxy. When a massive site like Amazon or Netflix stays online during a huge sale or a premiere, you can think load balancing. And every time you submit your data without it being intercepted, you can think the security layer a proxy provides. This isn't abstract theory. It's the bedrock of our modern web experience. A reverse proxy and a load balancer are just two pieces of this incredible, invisible puzzle that makes the internet work. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing systems are humming away in the background just to make our digital lives possible? Thanks so much for watching.